Deion Sanders has been a pretty controversial figure in the world of college football. Some people don't like the fact that he's showboating and being a little flamboyant with how he promotes his team. But you got to admit, the passion that he puts behind his coaching has helped the team get some upset victories. Colorado has been doing surprisingly well. And, it also has brought a lot of attention to the sport of college football. And Skip Bayless, I think he had some strong words to say about Deion Sanders and kind of his role in the sports world right now.
It's the biggest story in sports. This is becoming, on its way to being, the most amazing story in sports history. And I don't believe I'm overstating that or overreacting at this point.
Sports history? I do think that he is sort of overstating that. I don't think this beats Kurt Schilling, pitching with a bleeding ankle, right? There's so many moments in sports history that I think that overshadow this. But I think probably one of the biggest or greatest stories, in college football history, certainly. I would give him that.
I'm here to tell you that my Saturday life now revolves around Colorado games. It does, around Colorado football games.
Right.
Colorado.
And it's like the last huzzah for the Pac-12 too. It's a shame, right? I have a family member who's been following what's been going on with the Pac-12 a lot closer than I have, but he's been feeding me a lot of details, and I've just been kind of mortified. Last season, the Pac-12 actually has been performing a lot better than I think people were considering. I think people took the Pac-12's performance for granted and they weren't really paying attention. But the Pac-12 just continued to build on the previous success. And it's just sad to see how the Pac-12 has crumbled. This conference is not going to exist next year. And yet we're already seeing amazing hype built around the entire conference. The conference made some boneheaded mistakes by not, accepting deals that were on the table that, weren't exactly what they wanted, but they weren't awful. They were the fair market value, for each individual team. They just felt offended, basically, is kind of how it all went down. And so because they felt offended, they decided to just burn the whole conference to the ground. If they accepted the deal that they didn't like, they probably would have so much more money. People would be begging to pay them more money in the future. People would be begging to give them better deals next time around if they saw the hype that we were seeing today, or if they knew that this was coming around the corner. But they didn't play the long game. They played the short game. They threw a tantrum and they just broke all the toys, right? They got frustrated with the way the building was looking, so they smashed it all. It's sad. It's a sad story. But what's done is done. The conference isn't coming back, and I just hope that maybe someone in the Pac-12 makes it to the college football playoff. I think that would be the best ending to the Pac-12 that we could hope to get.
Colorado? My wife Ernestine says, well, what time's the Colorado game this Saturday? Well, it's at 3:30 Eastern. Oh, okay, we got to mark that off.
For me, I don't know who's doing it so begrudgingly, though, right? These games have been a delight to watch, right? Did you guys stay up until 2 a.m. watching that Colorado versus Colorado State game? That was a straight-up thrill ride. That was awesome. It was great seeing Colorado come back from being behind and then just sort of dominating towards the end of the fourth quarter. And then after, 2 rounds of overtime, just definitively, defeating Colorado State. That was fun. This is fun football. No one, I think, is grumbling about having to watch a Colorado game.
It's all about Oklahoma. Grew up in Oklahoma City as a huge Sooner fan. It's somewhat about Vanderbilt. I went to Vanderbilt, and I do watch most of their games unless they clash with Oklahoma or huge SEC, Alabama, Georgia, whatever games. But now, start to finish, my world revolves around Colorado football. because now Colorado football is the center of it's not the center, it's the epicenter of the sports universe. I hope you enjoyed that video.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And that's great for college football. Like I love watching college football, right? I'm gonna be honest. College football is like probably my favorite sport to watch on television. But I think that it always plays second fiddle to something else, whether it's the NBA, whether it's the NFL. And Deion Sanders, I think, has made college football maybe the third or second, if not the most talked about sports league in America right now. And I think that that's awesome because I think this is both well-deserved and certainly overdue. So bravo to Deion Sanders for the very least bringing more attention to the sport of college football because I think that it's very much deserved.